Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is that you?
That's not me. That's some DJ that's been kind enough to release some effects.
We ain't got to pay him for that.
Nah, we ain't paying. We'll cease and desist before we pay.
I got you. Because in these days, man, you never know.
Oh yeah,
know.
we get that cease and desist. We will cease and desist.
Yes, hey, please stop.
This is Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream podcast. I am Kenneth Jinks.
And Brother Timothy.
And we are back for another episode.
Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream pod.
Yes.
Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream podcast.
Episode 48, my brother.
Wow, man, 48?
48.
Wow, we rolling.
48 now. 48 now. Let me stop. The wrong people might hear that and think I'm
bulletproof backpack.
Yeah, something. But episode 48. This is Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream. We're gonna get right into it.
What we on?
We on everywhere. Everywhere where you can listen to podcasts. Most notably SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Music Play, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, Spreaker, Overcast, Stitcher. Just Google us. Just Google us. Put us in the search engine. Black Coffee, KNOW. Got to know the sugar and know the cream.
That's right.
So, brother, how you been?
Man, let me tell you the truth. I mean,
tell us the truth.
I can't say it's a long day because they all the same. You know, 24 hours. But it's what you do with it and how you manage your time. But man, I'm glad you waited on me. I'm glad you patient.
It all works out because we have a very a topic that I know is important to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that our devout listeners probably want to hear from you.
Okay.
So
I don't have to play the shy role.
No, I prefer you not do that. But so I think we have everything that we need to address this. Whereas if we would have went yesterday or last week, we may not have had everything we needed. Now, of course, we could have got back in here and kind of elaborated.
Yeah, topped it off a little bit.
But
yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we have everything we needed.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, so thank you for the listeners. Thank you to the listeners.
We still got listeners.
We still have listeners.
That's good.
They've...
Hey, controversial. They like, okay, good. I mean, do they express their open and honest, candid, black coffee, no sugar, no cream
I don't think we've
opinion?
had very many comments, but the numbers,
they listening.
Okay, they listening.
Good. Okay.
I mean, some are higher than others, but we got a decent average.
That's good. Oh man, that's a nice cut.
Yeah, I just went today.
Like 10 minutes ago, man. That is crisp.
So
I got to give a shout out, man.
Shout out to Ashi.
Wow.
I just left.
That's crisp.
Had a good conversation. We had a good conversation about what we about to talk about. So
I'm butting that. That Ash, for real.
Oh man!
I mean, for real. They change things up all the time. You gotta go 2 times, or it ain't for real.
Yeah,
for real.
So, all right, let's get into it. Week ago yesterday, our leader. He's my leader as well. I follow him.
Man, I follow him. We follow everybody else.
Well, Facebook announced that quite a few people, not just one person, quite a few people, a few organizations.
I didn't know they did organizations. I knew about the. I'm not up on as much social media as you.
Yeah.
You got that your background, but it was some organizations as well.
Yeah, and we'll get into it, but most notably. Most notably, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was, like I said, we might be in our own little bubble, by saying most notably, because
it affects us.
It affects us.
Yeah, it hits home.
Yeah. So
that's my heart and soul. So
right.
It's right there.
So he was banned from Facebook and Instagram, and Facebook they own. I guess Facebook owns Instagram. So he was banned from Instagram and Facebook, and a lot of people in the black delegation especially expressed their opinion, a lot of celebrities. And first and foremost, your thoughts.
A couple of words come to mind, ban, you're going to ban somebody.
And before you continue, they deemed him dangerous.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's one of the things I was going to point out also.
Yeah, so
you ban somebody. Let's look up the word ban and let's look up the word dangerous, because a lot of times we use words that we really don't have a strong enough definition to dialogue about. So let's look up those two words: ban and dangerous.
Yeah,
and let's see if it's true.
Right. So,
what does ban mean?
I'm looking at ban, and I don't know what definition. What source this is.
Okay.
But it says to officially or legally.
Okay.
Prohibit.
Okay. Prohibit, to stop. What else?
An official, that's a verb, an official or legal prohibition.
Okay.
So that's ban.
Okay. Okay.
So now let me look up dangerous.
Okay.
Let's see here. Dangerous, adjective, able or likely to cause harm or injury.
Okay. That's good enough.
Likely to cause problems or to have adverse consequences.
Okay. Likely to. Potential to. Okay.
Something just crept in my mind.
What's that?
He is dangerous.
Okay.
That's
relative.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because he's dangerous in the fact that, oh man, I'm about to get too deep, too early in, but
we got boots on.
But
ban, we're dealing with ban and
right, but based on that definition, likely to cause problems or to have adverse consequences. If his message gets through to the right people and we act on it, hell yeah, we become dangerous. Because the powers that be, I'm not even going to say use a race or creed. Okay. The powers that be want to keep the have-nots and the have-nots at bay. They want to keep them in a place.
They want to ban them from resources. So to speak.
Exactly.
Okay.
But please proceed. So we've got the.
Okay. We cleared a couple of words. Yeah. We got ban and dangerous.
Dangerous.
Okay. Well, when we say Facebook banned.
Right.
Okay. That means from a legal standpoint or an official capacity, you can ban your children from watching TV. No screen today. You know what?
Right.
You're banned. You're grounded because you have the authority to do it. You have the power and the force to do it, especially if you own the resources that somebody else is sharing.
Yeah.
So whoever owns Netflix, whoever made the decision, they have the ruling authority over that particular resource. Facebook, social media.
Yeah.
So, and they can ban whoever they want.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that because let's get something clear.
Okay.
People were saying First Amendment and all this and all that. And we'll really unpack this thing before we move forward. But First Amendment doesn't apply to Facebook because they're a private company per se.
Privately owned. That means I can hire and fire anybody I want. Even though you have a right to work.
Right.
You have a legal right to drive. If your license are suspended or revoked, then you lose that privilege.
Yeah.
But whomever owns Facebook, whoever the ruling authority is, they decide who's going to, be on and who's not going to be on this Facebook.
Right.
I remember magazines. If you have a magazine, it may be your magazine, but who's paying your bills? We can look at your advertisers and see who has more control over your decision making than those who don't. A good example, it costs more to be on the front cover or to advertise on the front cover of a magazine than it does a small little, eighth of a page somewhere in black and white.
All right.
So I say that to say, whomever has the greater influence over what you call yours, they have a stronger voice.
Right.
So Mark Zuckerberg himself, why would he, as a person, ban another person from speaking their mind when you can see nude pictures, you can see pornos, you can cussing, you can see somebody getting their head chopped off. You can see all kind of dangerous things, not potentially dangerous, not may cause danger, not incite. I'm talking about things that have actually happened that you can find on Facebook. And a lot of times it won't be removed unless people say, you know what, that's crazy. Then it's removed. So that cannot be your motive.
Absolutely.
Because you allow things to be broadcast that you say might be broadcast. Like he's dangerous, and he's been teaching and been in the nation since 1955. So he's dedicated his whole life to not just the upliftment and rising of black people, but all of humanity, which is evidenced in, him speaking at Father Flager's church. So when you say he's anti-white, you got white people say, no, he ain't. He anti-Jew. You got Jewish people say, no, he's not. Whatever you say he's anti, someone who from that group will stand up and say, no, I don't get that from him.
So I found that interesting. So like I said, it worked out that we're here tonight and that we weren't here last.
Yeah, we got content.
So I did find that interesting that Father Flager, Catholic preacher, from St. Sabina.
Yeah, St. Sabina. You know what that is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 78, 79th Racine, somewhere in the hood, So he stepped up and said, come to my house and address this. And the minister took him on his offer and showed up and addressed it.
Yes, sir.
And to my delight, wasn't long.
No. Well, it's not long. I mean, it's never long for me.
Maybe because he was in somebody else's house.
And I hear people say, he talked too long.
No, he said last night specifically, and this is why did I pronounce it right?
Said the ocean.
Okay, specifically.
That's cool right there.
As he was delivering a speech, he said, just give me one moment. I won't be long. And then he said, I know y'all say that. I know I've said that before. And 2 hours later, I'm still...
Yes, sir.
So, yeah. But two things.
Mm-hmm.
Father Flager invited him to his house, a white Catholic priest. And I watched it on Facebook.
So it wasn't banned. And the replay is still on Facebook.
It's still on Facebook.
And you can share it on Facebook.
Yes.
Which means, is it really banned?
Exactly.
Because ban means to prohibit.
Yeah.
From an official capacity.
Yeah.
But I did text 99000 and it bounced back that there was something wrong. I couldn't, text that we are Farrakhan.
Oh, okay.
And so many other people saying the same thing. But if you did it and said we are, and not mention the word Farrakhan, then it will let you get through. If not, it'll kick back saying all kind of stuff that some algorithm was designed to put in place. So whenever it picks up Farrakhan or Muslim or Allah or something like that, it routes you to a certain avenue.
So
because if he owns it, I mean, you can do what you want to with it.
Yeah.
But the question comes up, okay, who influenced you to say, ban somebody who has zero history of violence, someone who has never, ever been even to jail, never even, been arrested for jaywalking,
right,
or anything? How is it that you would consider this person dangerous? Name one dangerous thing that he did, or his followers did. He can't name one single thing that he did.
Right.
Even the people who say, well, y'all killed Malcolm X. I'm like, well, read his book. You don't want to read his book.
Right.
And you don't want to read the person who gave him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation after he was shot, who was, an FBI informant. But we don't want to read and study that kind of stuff. And we don't want to study how the government has sealed up the files and won't tell you that, they knew something was going to happen. They send people in. Our government sends people in all organizations that they deem dangerous. Dangerous to what?
Right.
See?
And that's
dangerous
what I was telling.
to what?
I was telling
your way of
my
life,
wife.
your culture, because when we were brought here and we still, embrace collectively the exact same religion. Well, I mean, we almost the only people on the planet only speaks one language, and not very well at that. People come from all over other countries, bilingual, trilingual. We won't try to speak the language that, we grew up in. So, when you think about that and how this country was built on free labor and became the fastest growing, strongest nation on the planet in a very, very short period of time, hundreds of years. How did this country advance so fast? Free labor. I mean, everybody was wearing cotton and we're picking that stuff for free.
Mm-hmm.
Me as a business owner, you as a business owner, imagine you had like 30 Uber drivers and 50 Lyft drivers and you didn't have to pay them. Just imagine. When we put it in that perspective and you're doing this for not a year, not 2 years, not a generation after generation after generation after generation. So whenever the little Lyft drivers that are already working for you have little children, they're going to be Lyft drivers. They're going to be Uber drivers. Whatever your company is, you're going to get more free labor. Free labor is like planting one seed. And as that seed produces more of itself, you just plant more of those seeds. Just get more and more and more. So imagine doing that for hundreds of years. And then somebody comes along and says, you know what? You can't do that anymore. And then you're not alive. You're not 200, 300, 400 years old. So you passed it on generation to your children. So your children are like, wait a minute, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
I paid them something. I pay my, Lyft drivers something. And then someone may argue like, wait a minute, I know my history. We've been working for your family for the last 300 years. And y'all have always ruled over us. So now for you to give me a better job with a few more benefits, a few little stockholder certificates to say I own a part of this business, when you die, you're going to pass it on to your child. So now we're waking up. We want some of the same things. So is it dangerous to you now that we're waking
That's
up?
what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's dangerous. So in that sense.
In that capacity, dangerous to whom? Not Mark Zuckerberg.
Right.
So the question comes like, okay, Mark Zuckerberg, are you, speaking for yourself, or are you're a puppet for someone else. Who runs? And it has to be some multinational corporations and funds involved. Because America's a corporation. It's a business. Who runs the business? And in whose best interest is it to stop this person? The Honorable Minister Farrakhan. It's likening to Jesus of 2,000 years ago. Why were these people so bent on keeping him from telling the masses the truth? Because you can control people when you control their thinking, their minds. You know, I still hear black folks say, well, he ain't gonna never do nothing. That's just how it is. That's an old slave mind, you know. They ain't gonna let us do this. You know how crazy that sounds? You know, that's crazy. But when you hear the truth and that truth goes inside, man, it begins to open and crack the atoms inside of you, and you wake up and realize you can do whatever you put your mind to. Perhaps you are dangerous to someone who wants you to work for them as a battery, or like in the Matrix, you know, you just being reproduced as a cell of energy for somebody else, you know. Anytime you can go to school for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years and get out, and then you still got to go try to beg somebody for a way for you to make a living for yourself, and somebody can just, you know, be a painter and make more than somebody who's a lawyer, you know, and you still preaching the program and go to school, get your education. I hear rappers and, you know, other people say, go to school. I'm like, wait a minute, you didn't go to school.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know.
I'm not knocking.
No, you're right.
But, you know, when you say, don't be a fool, stay in school, and you're building schools, but then you know, got a GED or barely got out of high school, and you made $100 million, and you got all these real estate investments, and you got restaurants and hotels, and you know that the current educational system is not credited for giving you that, then you're promoting that which you did not do.
Yeah, that's
so
like
it's
NBA
the programming.
players.
And so it's the programming, you know. So that's the danger. Like you're trying to wake people up. Yeah. That's dangerous to someone who wants you to stay asleep and control you. But you said the NBA players.
Yeah, so they have these. They visit schools and tell them, you know, but a lot of them leave college as soon as they can.
Why not?
You know, exactly.
Why not? Like, why do you go to college?
Exactly. So, but got a few more questions. Mm-hmm. We're gonna definitely try to unpack this whole thing and move on from it. But I guess let's see here.
I could drink some coffee.
But what
But it is precisely because I'm not just charismatic, I have wisdom. And I impart knowledge to the masses of the people who have been lied to by the government and miseducated by the system. This is what makes me dangerous. Ask those who are with me, am I dangerous to them? Is it dangerous to give them a constructive home life? Is it dangerous to put men and women in respect and honor of each other and to rear their children properly? Is it dangerous to tell men to not drink and not smoke dope and not party and bring your money home and spend it on your family and let's get independent education, let's go into business and build? How am I dangerous? I'm dangerous because my critics wish that they had the love of the people that they see Farrakhan.
Farrakhan.
So,
and that's what won me over, man. I'm telling you, 23 years ago, that did it, for real. That was my Jerry Maguire moment. It was. They had me at Assalamu Alaikum.
So I know the band, you know, I get CNN, I get quite a few notifications. So it came across my phone, Facebook bans Farrakhan and others. And I mean, I'm sorry, he was the main person. I mean, Milo and some other people are...
Alex Jones.
Yeah, Alex
Infowars,
Jones. Yeah, Infowars. That's when I said companies, but, you know, but it just seemed like all the national networks and social media and it was Farrakhan, you know. So I immediately sent it to you.
Yeah.
What was your first reaction? What was your reaction over, the rest of the, time?
Well, after having, studied and followed for 23 years, this is not the first. That's why it wasn't a big shock and awe type moment for me. That's been going on for years and years and years. I remember back in the 90s, I don't remember back in the 90s, but when I go back and listen to Phil Donahue from the 90s when the minister was on, and I didn't know him at the time. I didn't, him here for my first election until December 18, 1995, before the Me and Man March, But even back then, back in the 90s, when he was saying, stop the killing, stop what killing? Stop black people from killing black people. Even on the plantation, as backwards as we may have been, not being able to read, not being able to study, not being able to pray in our traditional way, we still didn't have the type of violence that we have today in Champaign,
right?
Yeah. In Rantoul, in Chicago.
Danville.
So how Deville. How is it that after 400 years of advancement and education and all these other different things that we've gotten worse than 300 and some, 400 and some years ago? So what did I think about? It was just a reminder. It's just like, oh, okay, they're still doing it. I didn't expect anything less because I know the history of Jesus. I know the history of anyone who stepped out to speak truth against falsehood, or anybody who speaks up, for those who are underprivileged. Anybody who does that, I know they're going to be attacked because those who it is in their best interest to keep people in a certain servitude position, it's dangerous to them. Question might come up. Oh, so you don't like white people? Ain't got no problem with white people. You love everybody. No, I don't love everybody. Do you love some white people? Yeah, I love some white people. So when people say, y'all hate white people, I'm like, okay, you didn't ask me who I love or hate. Ask me and I tell you. And if I want to know, I ask you. Don't just blanket me into, anywhere. So some of Farrakhan's biggest helpers or an advocate for him, they don't necessarily have to be black. Like Father Flager is a good example. Yeah. This is not the first time that Father Flager, has come forward to stand with Minister Farrakhan. It's not the first time.
Right.
It's not the first time that, some Jewish people have come up to say, no, Farrakhan, you're right. I know you're right. I know what we do. And I know what's wrong with some of us do. I know that. And some of us know that the Jews had a serious hand in our enslavement. We know that. So whenever something comes up and then it's on social media, I would be naive if that was my first time hearing or knowing about it. But I do thank God for my parents and the Christian environment that I grew up in, because they taught me about Jesus and what he went through, how he suffered, he died, they beat the hell out of him, all these different things, and I'm like, oh, Lord, have mercy, poor Jesus. But then I learned my history. I'm like, wait a minute. Wow, they treated some slaves worse than Jesus. They beating the shit out of him, burning him and roasting him like popcorn and cutting his ears off for like souvenirs and stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. And I start putting things together. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you serious? But it wasn't until I heard, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan that began to open my mind and open my eyes. I'm like, oh, wow. And as I begin to see, you can't just go back to sleep. You can try, but you know what you know. So I didn't wake up and start hating white folks. Like, oh my God, I'm following Farrakhan. I hate white folks. No, I'm learning to love myself. I'm learning to love myself. Some of my biggest customers white. Why? Absolutely. They have the resources to get stuff done. That's not just repairs. They want things that are, upgrades. We most black people here in Champaign, we live below the poverty level. If you look at the most, per capita, we 12% of the population. We about right along with the United States of America. Black folks to America, the same thing as black folks in Champaign. We're about the same percentage.
Yeah.
So, dangerous to whom? You're not dangerous to me.
Right.
You actually helped me. And I've been advancing and advancing. My life is just advancing and advancing and advancing more and more and more. Why? Because I act on not just what I hear him say, but, I put it into practice. He said,
and that's what I meant. If we put his teachings into practice, yeah, we'd be dangerous.
Well, the word dangerous, it connotes so much negativity on one side.
Yeah.
But if we did that, black folks generate $1.3 trillion.
Yeah.
We would be like the 11th, largest developed nation. We are a nation within a nation, but when you take a look at $1.3 trillion, you have other countries that doesn't even make a fraction of that.
Yeah.
With more people.
Yeah. Of spending power. I mean, of the spending.
The wealth generation, we bring in, although we may work for somebody else or work here and there, but we generate $1.3 trillion, but we give it, most of it, 80, 90% back because we don't have the wherewithal, the businesses and the institutions set up where we can exchange the money, let it go through different hands before it gets out of the neighborhood. It's not in the neighborhood how long?
6 hours, I think, Killer Mike.
6 hours. See?
Yeah.
6 hours. So whose best interest is it in, for us not to have a grocery store in Champaign?
Right.
I can start a grocery store in Champaign. I wouldn't.
No.
Because to me, it wouldn't be a good business move.
Right.
It wouldn't. I can start a gas station. It wouldn't be a good business move. Why? Because I got to get the gas from somewhere.
Yeah.
And by the time I get the gas, my gas would have to be $15,000-$20,000 a gallon just to make a profit. Because I would have to get the gas from somebody who I'm necessarily competing with.
Yeah.
I could start a hotel, but my last name ain't Patel. I wouldn't do real well.
Right. Or Hilton or,
Yeah. So, there's some things already just locked up. Not that we can't start something. We can start, and we can start doing something for ourselves, but I have to start it. You have to start it. You have to start it. Everybody's not going to want to do it, and that's fine. I have a problem with that. But am I dangerous to my community if I do something for myself? I do fences. I do decks. Someone who's insecure may think, well, you know what? I got to stop him before he, try to take over the fencing business. So S&K might be upset. They may find something. He didn't do this. He didn't do this. He didn't do this. He didn't do this. Okay. You say, I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I did. Okay, now I'm doing all these 3 different things. I'm doing everything. You have forced me to be better. I thank you. And I'll run you out of business. Not that that would be my goal, but I think it goes back to intent. What is your intent? What is your intent? Who else has helped black folks more so than the Nation of Islam? Nobody. No other organization. None. Even brothers go to prison. They come out, I don't eat pork no more. Oh, that nigga trying to be a Muslim. Them niggas talk all the time. You a Muslim. Niggas talk all the time. Why? Because before that, we never had much to say that didn't make sense.
But that's crazy you say that because you use that analogy because I just seen something where they take spirituality and religion out of the schools, but give it to you when you go to jail.
Yeah.
That's crazy, ain't it?
That's amazing. I remember they came to my house before talking about that. I got to put my children in school, which was crazy, but it's amazing. Why would you, the Illinois Board of Higher Education, come to my house and say, my children not in school? And that's why it's good to know your rights. But first and foremost, we have to be men and women of principle, character, and strength. So when they came, they were concerned about me not having my children in school. I'm like, yeah, they're in school. It's a private school. Just like the Montessori. You passed right by the little Montessori school over there. I bet you didn't stop over there. I don't need your permission to teach my children. And you a Christian? Oh, yeah, okay. You put Jesus back in the school, we'll talk. How you a Christian and you're not advocating, for us to teach what Jesus taught? Then the question comes, what's your motive? Why did you come to my house? Who told you? And you bring your children over here, and I have mine right here. You ask mine some questions, and I'm going to ask yours some questions. My children may not be able to answer the questions that you spit out. And I bet you your children won't be able to answer the questions that my children answer. Because I have to teach, my children something about themselves. We live in this culture, You got to learn George Washington. You got to learn about, Abraham Lincoln. You got to learn all these different things about this particular country. But you can't name one black president from another country, one black ruler. Can't name any of the natural resources in any other place. Well, none of that. You can't name one country that a black man runs that's not his. Example. You can have a white person ruling Africa, but you're not going to have an African ruling any European country. You can't name one. Why is that? How dangerous would that be, in a sense?
All right.
They wouldn't let it happen because the people are conscious enough to know they want someone who has shared ideas and beliefs and attitudes and set up laws by which to govern themselves.
All right.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
So, hey, I'm happy. I'm really glad because, all things do work together for good. For those who love the Lord and are called according to his righteous purpose, this can only do nothing but help the cause. There are some people who never even heard of Farrakhan. And thanks to Mr. Mark Zuckerberg and thanks to Facebook and Instagram, thanks to all of that, now, what you tried to do backfired on you.
Yeah, I do have some things I want to add. I did say that, it's a private company. Mm-hmm. So the First Amendment is kind of doesn't apply in this situation. What I will say is, love it or hate it, Facebook has, for all intents and purposes, Facebook, Instagram, social media has kind of has become mainstream media. I think
that's a good way. That's good. That's a really good way to put it.
So even though we say it's a private company, they can do what they want. Facebook has come under fire in the past year or so for data breach, just a lot of things that I think they've I would say abused their privileges as I don't want to say gotten too big, and maybe that's the best way to put it, where maybe they've gotten too big and they just feel that they can do whatever they want. But even with this ban per se,
which is not really a ban.
No, it's not a ban. No. Because
it's a boost. It ain't a ban. It's a boost.
Yeah, I've seen more content.
Yeah, it's blowing up.
Yeah. But they
can't stop.
They need to be a little bit more clear on why. I believe they need to be a little bit more clear on why, the minister.
They ain't gonna do
I don't, and I get that. Not because he can be, has some type of lawsuit or any type of legal action that he could take, but they just tread a slippery slope. They really are. And I think they really do need to be a little bit more clear on why him, because like we've said, his history it is not of violence or
it speaks for itself.
Yeah, so
if you care to listen.
Yeah.
See.
So,
but if you hear little sound bites here and there, then
And it's crazy because
my work is directly to black people. I spend 99% of my time dealing with us to help us reform our minds and spirit that we may do for ourselves. However, when you live in a society like this, And we know that in order to effect a solution to a problem between black and white, then there's going to have to be some meaningful dialogue between black and white in order to effect a solution. The young lady said she's afraid of violence. And isn't it sad that we who have been the victims of so much violence, now whites fear violence from us? We do not have a history of killing white people. White people have a history of killing us.
Now, the minister has said in years past, prove me a liar and he'll give you $1 million? What did he say?
Well, number one, you can't prove it because he ain't gonna lie. But he said that if you prove it, he'll stop speaking. Why can't they prove it? Not one thing. It's interesting because out of everything that they say about him or accuse him of this and that, they never said he lied about nothing. They have never, think about that.
Right.
They've never said he lied about anything. And it's amazing that those who, produce hate says it's amazing, says he's dangerous. You don't have, black police officers killing white people on the street. You don't have black police officers going to a pool party and busting it up and, throwing black girls on the ground or arresting 12-year-old people or shooting, white children by mistake. You don't see that because that doesn't exist. So it can never be said, number one, that he lied about anything. And once again, it just still goes back to the history. As long as he's been speaking for 64 some years. That's a very, very long time. How many years?
Yeah, it's a long time.
That's a very long time, And when I think about it, not one time have you said this man lied. I've lied before.
Yeah, me too.
Before, during, after, Prove, even in the court of law, that we say, there's a presumption of innocence until proven guilty. Prove it. And if you can't prove it, do you really believe in the system that you say you advocate for justice?
All right.
Prove it. Bring your evidence. Bring your facts. Bring it. But since you have not brought it, then you want to judge the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the social media. Look at what happened to Jesus. It's amazing how this is, I guess, was considered a Christian country, But we really don't understand the history and what really happened to the Jesus figure 2,000 years ago. It's easy to follow somebody when everything's going good, but look what happened. They start whooping his ass. Mm-hmm. They'll say, yeah, okay, well, whooping his ass. They're crucifying him. If you watch the crucifixion of Jesus, they was beating him with these whips that had knives on it, plucking his skin off. That happened to us. We have proof of that. We have facts. We have evidence. We have pictures of us being burned at the stake. And we have not, as a people, retaliated. That's not in our nature.
Right.
Wherever we go, we don't have that trail of blood. We don't have that. We didn't, kill the Indians who try to help us by putting smallpox in their blankets. We didn't do that. We didn't chase them off their own land in a trail of tears and forbidding them from coming back. Even the Mexicans who you say are immigrants who are trying to come back to the land that was taken from them, they're immigrants. We don't have a history of that.
All right.
This is the known history of the Caucasian. Whether you as an individual did it or not, this is not something that we learned in school. It is not being taught in the Champaign public school system. It's not. Then you wonder why the little black boys and girls are acting out and fighting and acting crazy. Where's the hope?
Where's the hope?
When they watch their parents, they ain't how to do nothing. Their parents ain't how to do nothing. Don't say anything better, So what's the use? Why? Why continue to listen to you? And I know, it ain't gonna work out the way you plan, So, and it's getting ready to get hot.
Yeah.
The summer's coming up. And historically, crime goes up, not black against white crime, just black on black crime.
Yeah, you kill.
It's like a, it's like a, what do you call it? Like a sign or milestone, or we can mark time. Y'all, it's about to get hot. It's going to be on and popping for real. On and going to be popping on each other. Then we look to see the stats on, how many people got killed in Chicago.
Yeah.
And if it's lower than last year, we're like, oh, okay.
It's getting better. Right?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's just going back to dangerous, or inciting violence, or these different words that people use. Look at your own self and look at your own history. Because, the white supremacy rule, that's over with. As evidence in us being able to speak now. Mm-hmm. And to be able to read, to write, to dialogue about this, it opens up the minds and the hearts of the people. And that's over with. That's forming Christ in the people.
Yeah.
And once Christ is formed in the people, then the people begin to crush wickedness within their own selves. It starts with the self.
Yeah.
And when you, with your, look at your own self and examine, analyze, and correct your own behavior, then society doesn't have to worry about you being a nuisance. They have to worry about you because you're self-disciplined. So I'm not going to throw trash out the window. I live here too. I'm not going to do that. I care about it because I have a vested interest in here. And black folks ain't going nowhere. We stand right here. Right. We built this. Ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Some people think like we're in a nation of y'all niggas going back to Africa. We ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Africa is for the African people. I ain't no African. I ain't no African American.
All right.
I'm not.
I'm not either.
Shit, I'm black.
I'm black.
So when I live in Dewey, ain't no other. Okay, yes, it is a bunch. I had people ask me if it's Dewey. I've had people ask me, why would you want to live way out? So my response is, hey, I live wherever I want to live.
Right.
It's my choice. It's my business. Ain't gotta, I can come and go where I please. That's what free people do. And there's nothing wrong with that. Haters gonna hate. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't have to let it affect me so much until I feel bad because, I'm not doing what you think I ought to do.
Right.
It's like the minister said, I'm a free black man. This is what a free black man looks like. And that was one of the things that attracts me. I'm like, damn, you're talking strong, talking bold, and it helped me to wake up. And I appreciate it. I love him. I thank Allah for him. I think he's a God. He is a God. He's a walking, talking, living, breathing God. To me. Man. Yes, sir.
2 more questions and we can move on. Was it important for him to go to St. Sabina and maybe not the mosque to speak? Or because he did wait to speak. He waited a full week. Mm-hmm. He didn't speak. Was that? He can do what he wants, and he's proven that he beats to his own drum per se.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does.
You think that was calculated? Do you think it was just him?
Well, everything that he does is calculated.
Yeah.
That's one thing, because in calculations, we're dealing with mathematics. And mathematics is Islam. Islam is mathematics. They're one and the same because, everything's cause and effect. But how calculated was it? He didn't do it for them. He's been doing it. And that's the thing, me being on the inside. And I know he's been doing this for years. This is not new, if you know. That's the thing. It's not new.
And just listening.
Yeah, it's not new.
He's not phased,
No. And he's not doing it it helps me.
Yeah.
I already know who he is. That's why I follow him for 23 years. But those who don't know, it is an avenue by which he can reach people who don't understand him. He's very secure in himself.
Yeah.
So he's not doing it like, well, let me get over here, saying, so y'all can see, I ain't like this. He ain't got to prove that. He's been doing this for, as long as, longer than, my God, some of us been on the planet. So as far as being calculated, everything's calculated. but it's calculated on the highest of level. His job is to save humanity. And this is just another way for him to do it. Just like Jesus 2,000 years ago. There was, first, hey, you go here, don't go here. Go here. Then, afterwards, then you can go and teach everybody. When in the Nation of Islam, the focus and concentration is on people who need help the most. Anybody with eyes and a heart can see that black folks in America need more help than anybody else. So if you are God, or if you God and you got this power and force to change reality, and you're going to send someone to help the people who need the help most. Black folks need more help than anybody else. Why? Because we are in worse condition than anybody else. What open-minded person would make $1 and give away 98 cents? We collectively as a people, it's likened to generating $1.3 trillion and then giving it all away. Cigarettes, dancing and kicking and in cars and clothes, all these different things, and not build up something for ourselves and then wonder what's going to happen to our children if we haven't built anything for them. It's our duty to build something for our children, because we know that even with a very good GPA and a good, strong work history, man, they're going to pick their cousin over you, and there's nothing wrong with it. I went to Red's Mufflers. Why? They do a very good job. I could have gone to somebody else who could have put a couple of clamps on the muffler. It wouldn't have sounded as loud. It wouldn't have rattled as loud. Man, take it to the baby. They've been doing this since 1972.
Yeah.
So when I go to Red's Muffler, I know they got everything they need to get me in and out in 35, 40 minutes. I know that. White company. I know they got a good history. That's why I go to them. I didn't go to somebody else who I know is black, who probably could have done a good job if it was on a Thursday. He hadn't had a couple, at work. Would have been cheaper, But I would have to put clothes hangers on for the hanging on,
Right.
But I was like, well, he did the best he could. No, that's not good enough. It's really not.
No.
It is one of the work trucks that we work with had a muffler or something, and it needed to be fixed, so I take it to the muffler people. Because we don't have a muffler shop in Champaign. We don't have a place where you can go with your oil change in Champaign County. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. So we can look at it from a broader perspective, like, Minister Farrakhan, he's an international, global level, but it also hits home. He said, hey, do something where you live. Produce some service or product to service your people where you live. You don't have to service just to black folks. If you're growing tomatoes and you're selling tomatoes, you're not going to tell somebody like, no, you Chinese, you can't have none of this. It's just for the black folks. You may not be in business long.
No.
You can go to the Chinese restaurant. You can't work there, but you can eat there.
Yeah.
You can go to Biaggi's. You can go wherever you go. They'll take your money, but you may not be able to work there. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We have to stop begging people to give us jobs when they have to take care of their own people first. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. That's a very dignified thing to do. You would, as much as we care about each other, you better help your children before you help mine. And that is just the law of nature. There's nothing wrong with that. So, Mr. Farrakhan asked us to, hey, stop begging and start building. But watch this. When we stop begging, like Lazarus, lazy or us, when we stop that, and start building, those who've been getting those dollars from us, it's going to change their quality of life.
Right. And last thing before we move on, we do have some other things to touch on before we go home.
Mm-hmm. You're doing a good job.
I just want to thank the brothers and sisters of the nation for not proposing a Facebook ban.
No, man, I like Facebook.
Monique, take notes.
Oh man, she gonna be knocking on that window like, hey, I heard you.
Hey, baby. So the fact that I think that was the wisest thing. It's like,
why would we ban Facebook?
Right.
Some of us,
it was just silly.
Man, some of us may not have even heard of certain things if it were not for Facebook.
Exactly.
And I believe that Facebook is going to follow a natural course. It either Facebook is going to have to get with whatever's going on as far as the normal, or going to have to shut down, because the invisible hand of competition always comes through.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're the only one, if you have a monopoly on this, well, pretty soon somebody's going to figure it out, and they're going to offer a bigger, better product. I'm so glad, because it's going to force us to do something for ourselves. Like the podcast.
And we'll share it on Facebook there. Like we always say, we don't say Facebook, even though we have a Facebook page.
Share everywhere.
But you can Google us and you can hear
It'll pop up. That's right.
You know, so that's right. Another reason. Yeah.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I don't think it's so much about free speech legally as much as it is, you know, when you touch people's hearts, they want that same thing again. So Facebook is, a good example. Facebook is going to be along as long as Facebook governs itself by certain principles that are immutable. And those principles got to be freedom, justice, and equality. If you cannot administer freedom, justice, and equality along the whole board from everybody, black, brown, red, yellow, white, class, creed, color, no matter what. If it's a woman who wants to identify herself as a man and say, I don't want you to call me she, call me he, fine. If you're going to deal with that person, respect their wishes. I don't have a problem with that. Whatever. But the point has to be, what principles do you govern by? All businesses that are not free, justified, and equal across the board, they're not going to last. They're just not going to last. If you're not treating people right, the word's going to get out. Yeah. And if you ban black people from coming to your restaurant, guess what? Pretty soon, man, it's going to shut down. You know, you're going to be in a situation where you are incestual, just the people around you. And then they're going to get tired of it. They're going to want something new, because that's human nature, to grow and develop from where you are, to advance, to do better. Once you grow out of eating whatever that little 2 or 3 item items on your menu, you want something else. If you have to get outside of your neighborhood to grow and develop, then you're going to have to change. Otherwise, man, you'll be shunned from society. Yeah. Yeah. It's just a natural course. Everything is going to freedom, justice, and equality. Yeah. And if you're doing something that you should not be doing, if you don't change it, it will lead to your own demise. Right.
And that's the thing. When I said what I said, y'all have already been in hot water for breaching data and doing this and doing that. That's probably, Mark Zuckerberg has had to answer to Congress about those situations. And so, I was reading something, last week or earlier this week, that he's probably going to be on the hook for $5 billion or so in fines. So not to do this, and
well, it's not him.
Well, yeah, got you. But
yeah, it's not. I don't think he's the ruling authority over, the decision making process to say we're going to do this. Just like any board or conglomerate, they're like, they vote on things, or they come together and they decide like, no, I don't think this is in the best interest. It's not just him. Doing selfies, in his house, and hey, what do you think? I don't know what you think, and it's just him there. No,
right?
He has a team who calculate and decide what's in their own best interest. Why? Because we are all motivated by our own self-interest. So, what's in the best interest of not just Mark Zuckerberg, not just in his best interest, but for those who support him, who are in business with him. So it's not just him, but one of the best things is these things are being exposed now. Yeah. So certain things we didn't know yesterday, we know now. Yeah. So you might mean a thing for bad, but it turns out good. Yeah. Yeah. I remember in the church they said, hey, if you dig one ditch, you better dig 2. Yeah. Because the ditch you dig just might be for you. So unless your intention is to do good and righteous by everybody, it's not going to last. We're in that time now. We're in that time. Yeah. We're in good times. Yeah. So we don't have to be sad. We don't have to be stressed out. We don't have to be none of those different things. You know, and if you are that, then you have to examine your own self, because you are responsible for your happiness.
Yeah.
I mean, this doesn't take not one cubic iota away from the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. He ain't losing no sleep.
Right.
None of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so I say he even immune to it, you know, and it's making me like that. When I hit stuff like that, I'm like, oh, okay. Because I don't let that affect me. I don't have that strong, powerful, reactive mind where I got to wait till something happens and then I'll respond to it like that. No, I'm proactive. And we all have to be proactive. It's like living from check to check. Why are you living check to check? That's a horrible way and very insecure way to live, because, and this is the majority of America, not just black folk.
Yeah.
Like people one check away from
I'm
disaster.
2, maybe 3, so I got to get better.
Well, I mean, if we can save 6 months to a year of, you know, what you bring in, then if something happens for a week or two, it won't even cross your mind. You're like, what? You know, ain't no big deal. You ain't freaking out going crazy because you furloughed or they gonna cut your check or you still got to come to work. No. Or think about it. How many people can go 2 weeks or 3 weeks without getting that check?
All right. Yep.
So that's another thing to think about as well. You know, while we focusing on social media and, you know, what's going on in big world events and what's going on in Mars and, you know, whatever.
Right, yeah.
What's going on in our personal lives, you know, how secure are we within ourselves? And, you know, some of the things, even if the whole economy collapsed, what would you do? You know, we usually wait for something like that to happen, and then we're scrambling around trying to figure out what to do.
Right.
So
you said we got everything out?
It's always going to be something else. But
yeah,
I know you have a good agenda. I mean, there'll always be something. And even now, the story is growing. It's developing.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't say like wildfire, but it's, you know, like a good plant that's in a good seed that's in good soil. It's going to continue to bloom and grow and develop, you know. Because when I came into the nation, man, I stopped talking to white folk.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm like, I was focusing more on myself than anything else. It wasn't so much that I consciously decided, like, you know what, forget that. I ain't talking to no more white folk for the rest of my life. No, it's like for the first time, I'm learning something about myself. So I began to, you know, invest in myself. I want to read and study something about myself, my history, my culture. So I became so engulfed in that. I ain't time to not like you or to hate you, but I just want to know something about myself. And that's one of the things that I think that's one of the privileges that Caucasian people have here. They are the dominant culture. It's changing, and pretty soon it won't be, but presently, you know, and you're losing the power over the people because everybody don't want to be white no more.
Yeah, they tanning. And,
I mean, it's the reality, man, that people don't want to talk about, you know. but the reality of it is, you know, you're the dominant culture for a long time, hundreds of years, you know. It's not so much that, okay, it's somebody else's time to rule. It just doesn't work like that. It does. But, you know, if you rule just and free and equal for everybody, there would be no need for you to feel dangerous.
Yeah.
But you know, if you've done something to somebody, excuse me, you do know that the laws of cause and effect comes around. Even in the Bible, it says, as thou have done unto others, so shall it be done unto you. You reap what you sow. Mm-hmm. The sins of the father are visited on to the children. So you may not have done it, but, you know, your children have to pay for some of the things that you've done, you know. You know, if all you did was just like smoke weed all day, guess what? When your children born, guess what? They like what you like.
Yeah.
Can't be mad. Can't be upset. I mean, these are real things. If you eat a lot of salt, they're going to be born with an affinity to eat salt. They don't have to stay like that. Things can change. We're just not, you know, apt to change so quickly. And I'm a witness. I changed a lot of things in my life.
Yeah.
So I went from T to I picked up the rest of the letters to my name. So, and it feels good.
Well, we're going to move along.
We're not going to be together.
This ain't no damn unity party with punks. This ain't no unity party with people who don't want the true liberation of black people. This ain't no unity party with betrayers and snitchers and hypocrites and weak-minded, weak-blooded, spineless black people. This ain't that kind of party. So you take your raggedy ass on home. But those who want liberation, those who want to see black people really free at last. You walk away from these punctified Negroes.
The minister fired up.
Fired up, man. Just speaking the truth.
Yeah.
Speaking the truth.
R.I.P. John Singleton. John Singleton.
So he did pass.
Yeah, he passed.
Because, they were going back and forth with,
yeah,
did
movie director, writer, legend. Wow. He's only 51.
That's young, man.
Yeah, man. Films include Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, Baby Boy, Higher Learning, Too Fast, Too Furious.
Wow.
Among others.
How'd he die? That's a question, man.
I had a stroke. Didn't recover from a stroke.
Wow, man. A stroke?
Yeah, had a stroke. The reason why I wanted to talk about it, he had one of the famous, he wrote Boys in the Hood. And I think one of the most famous, lines that's still relevant today was from that movie. And let me see if I can pull it up right quick. Yeah.
Would you two knuckleheads come on? Why don't y'all take a look at that sign up there? See what it says?
The Boys in the Hood.
Cash for your home. You know what that is? Billboard. What are y'all, Amos and Andy? You stepping and he's fetches? I'm talking about the message, what it stands for. It's called gentrification. It's what happens when the property value of a certain area is brought down. Huh? You listening? Yeah. They bring the property value down. They can buy the land at a lower price. Then they move all the people out, raise the property value, and sell it at a profit. Now what we need to do is we need to keep everything in our neighborhood, everything, black. Black owned with black money. Just like the Jews, the Italians, the Mexicans, and the Koreans do.
Look, y'all, that's John Singleton. He wrote that in 1992.
Wow. That was a while ago.
Yes. 27 years.
Wow.
And Boys in the Hood.
Yeah. I remember that.
He wrote that. Lawrence Fishburne didn't write it.
I didn't know. I thought Ice Cube had a hand in it. And John Singleton wrote it.
He wrote Boys in the Hood.
Good job, John Singleton. That was a good movie.
He's a mentor.
He was.
He's a mentor for Ice Cube. But he wrote that.
20-something years ago.
In 1992.
Wow. Uh-oh. Who was that? No, put him on.
It's a tape. No, not a call.
No calls.
But the reason why I wanted to bring this up, he didn't have an estate. He had a will, but it was outdated. He worth $35 million.
Wow. So have they started the frenzy? Have they started fighting over the?
Yes. So according to TMZ,
wow,
John Singleton is worth $35 million. His will was outdated, and his kids are gearing up for a fight. His will is lacking a critical component that is wreaking havoc on his family, and now has 7 children are embroiled in conflict over their father's estate.
How many? 7?
7 children.
35 million?
35 million.
It's $5 million apiece.
is reportedly worth around $35 million. John's mom, Sheila Ward, filed his will in probate court last Friday, leaving all of his property to Justice. Here are the major problems. The will was drafted in 1993 when Justice was the only child. John left everything in his will to Justice. Singleton had
his son. He has a son named Justice.
No, a daughter.
A daughter named Justice. I got you. I'm thinking he got the legal system. I got you. Daughter named Justice. I got you. That's
so Singleton had a total of 7 kids at the time of his death. The will never accounted for the additional 6 children under California law, unless the unborn children were specifically disinherited in the will when John signed it. They may have legal claim to a portion of his estate, and no such clause exists in the will. Sheila, his mother, is the executor of the will, and she filed legal docs. She listed his assets around $3.8 million. That means more than $31 million is unaccounted for. Most likely, John created a trust with assets that don't have to go through probate court. In other words, it's all taken care of outside of the will. We don't know who gets what in the trust because trust documents don't have to be filed in probate court. But that is clearly the bulk of John's estate. We know at least one of John's kids is furious at Sheila because while he was in a coma, 21-year-old Cleopatra accused Sheila of trying to cut all John's kids out of his estate. In addition to challenging the will, the kids could file a separate lawsuit if they have beef over the trust or whatever John created to dispose of the $31 million. A legal fight may not just pit the grandmother against the grandkids. It could also pit some of the kids against the others. We go through this every single time.
Wow. Yeah.
And then,
a lot. Some people got their stuff together.
We go through it a lot.
A very, very, very high number. Most, over 51%.
Yeah. We are definitely going to get an estate planner, a lawyer, somebody on this show.
That'd be good.
I have some people in mind. Like I said, our recording schedule has been off, so I haven't really tried to even go about trying to ask anybody. Just because we just got to get back on,
Get back on track.
Just
get some consistency.
But we definitely that's important to us.
That's very important.
I don't have $35 million in assets. I'm a dollaraire, maybe a thousandaire.
That's what I'm talking about.
But my life. I do have life insurance. I do have beneficiaries and stuff like that.
Yeah, you got car insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
homeowners insurance.
My term life insurance, when I signed up, it was for 35 years. So not really sure.
Well, what did you do 5 years ago?
No, it was a little longer. So I probably got about 25 or some years.
But it's more for them. It's not.
Yeah, it's not for me. Yeah. And I mean,
that
I'm
way they can continue.
There,
they can at least continue the same lifestyle if something happens to
you.
So
I got a few $100,000, know. And then my job, if I, something happens and I still have that life insurance is my salary. So that'll definitely bury me and pay everything. Not my house, but so I got 2. Got to start a 403B.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but they taking $100 out of each check.
Enron. At least find out what it is.
Yeah. You're right about that. No, it's almost like a separate retirement because with the U of I system, they have this retirement system. So that
matching program.
Yeah, so I'll get a pension per se. So with this,
that's good. So
it's almost like a 401k, but it's a 403b. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So,
but that's good forward thinking.
Yeah. So
that's good. Proactive.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
but
man.
R.I.P. John. He's been laid to rest.
Wow.
I
had a stroke.
Wow. I just had to play that. I mean,
that was good.
He really told the black story in his movies, from Boys in the Hood to Baby Boy. You seen Baby Boy? I mean, just really showed
Jody.
Yeah, Jody living with his mom did have some aspirations.
Yeah.
Had a little ghetto. I don't want to say she was ghetto, but
Taraji.
Taraji. What was she? Yvette? Yvette was,
okay.
Had a shorty by another dude, and
wow.
he
just pulled from. I mean, art imitating life imitating art. That's enough.
Yeah.
You know,
No, he didn't have a baby, but she had another dude that she had dealt with that went to jail. That Snoop played.
Right.
I mean, these are just. It's typical.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, that's where they got it.
Yeah.
He didn't make it up, and then this stuff happens.
Yeah, he just it. And
he filmed it like
film.
these are some of the things that we're going through. You know?
Yeah,
I do appreciate the happier ending from that than some of the other things. You know, it's been pushed out there. I thought that was good. John Singleton, a stroke.
Yeah, man. So he was on life support for a minute. They finally just decided to pull the plug.
After how long?
I want to say about 4 or 5 days or something that he was just brain dead. So no, it was longer than that.
Wow.
I forget what the death certificate said as far as his
cause.
Yeah, when it actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, he done checked out, went to a better place.
What?
Well, that's what.
Wait a minute now. He went to a better. Hold on.
Hey, that's
prove it. Let me see some videos or some brochure. You prove to me he went to a better. Come on, man, a better place. Come on.
You see, people just say stuff.
It just pops out.
You know what I'm saying?
He's in a better place. Like for real. Let's go where he is. Then.
Well, I mean, if he was still here, he'd be
came
brain
back to
dead,
tell us.
You know.
I mean,
but R.I.P. John, man. You just like I said last.
He lives
episode,
on in our hearts.
Just like I said with the last episode, this content should be around for years to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. It will be.
This should outlive us.
It will.
Yeah.
Man, look. The stem has been lit. It's just a matter of time. It's going to boom. Critical mass.
Yep.
And then people going to want to know, like, man, that's amazing. Y'all got what? $800 million? That's amazing. What was it like back in the days? They go back and watch all the old videos and listen to the old stuff. That's amazing. They guys, what do y'all do with all that money? Rated gear and Jerry curl juice.
Yep. Yep. So, man, it's just one more topic, and we gonna.
That's right, because I'm going home. That's right.
Man, on Sunday, this is local, guys.
I like local.
Man, it was an.
It ain't about the church, is it?
No, it ain't about the church.
Okay.
Look here.
Can you talk about this?
Yeah,
like
Unit 4. Did you read that article?
I don't know yet. Let me hear it.
Unit 4. They losing their damn minds.
I know. I read it, but go ahead.
As a tax-paying citizen,
I knew it was coming out.
In Unit 4, I was appalled.
Paul Bear.
Listen to our listeners.
Yes, sir.
To our listeners.
They need to know, man. Bring us up.
If you're out of town.
Same thing going on in their little town.
If you're out of town, just hear my pain. As a Unit 4 school district asks residents to accept millions of dollars in cost overruns for needing building renovations. Cost overruns meaning basically what they told us it was going to cost to renovate our schools. It's more, which we knew. We've talked about that on this podcast. That, of course, when you go into redoing 100-year-old schools, it's going to be things that come up that you didn't see.
Tear it down.
So that's exactly what has happened.
Wow.
Dozens of district employees charge pricey staff dinners, flowers, and more to us, the taxpayers. The News Gazette, our Champaign local News Gazette, examined 19 months of purchasing card expense data for 81 people obtained under the Freedom of Information Act and revealed that Unit 4 staffers have charged scores of catered meals, working lunches, and snacks, a $200 retirement print from the Larry Canford Gallery, flowers for funerals, thousands of dollars in gift cards for students and staff incentives on purchasing cards issued in their names.
Wow.
First things first, they don't have a policy in place.
So they're not doing anything wrong.
Is that what that is?
I mean, policy would dictate what is supposed to happen. Did they do anything illegal?
Obviously.
not.
The controversial spending practices are the subject of a criminal investigation by the Illinois State Police that will be referred to the Illinois State Attorney's Appellate Prosecutor's Office for potential charges.
Potential. Stored.
Susan Zola, superintendent, now concluding her second year at the helm of the county's third largest employer, said no written policy exists to guide or govern the use of district credit cards or P cards, which predate her hiring as superintendent for 3 years.
Now it will. See, that's just like, you talking and texting on the phone. It becomes a law. It's prohibitive. After you do it after the law, then there's crime and punishment. But before that, it's not.
But here's the thing. Champaign Police Chief Anthony Cobb declined to say why his department is not investigating the expenditures. But Champaign County State's Attorney Julia Reese says she advised Champaign Police to refer the case to the state police. And because her working relationship with the school district, she preferred that prosecutors outside her office review the reports for possible criminal charges. So basically, she's saying those are my friends, and I don't want to be the ones to prosecute them. Am I interpreting that probably right?
It could. You're right. It could be, or perhaps she's recusing herself because there may be a conflict of interest. Sometimes that's the best thing to do.
Oh, of course, it's definitely. I'm not arguing that.
You know what? She may know about it, but plausible deniability. She can remove herself and say, "You guys handle it." Because it is my friends, and I don't want to, testify or indict or, be a witness against my friends. So I respect the system, whatever y'all come up with. Sometimes that's a good way to remove yourself and your emotional, your emotional sway. Remove yourself from it. So it could be either way. Like, you know what? I don't want y'all to do this because these are my friends, or I want y'all to do this because these are my friends, and whatever comes up, I want to maintain my friendship with them, no matter what y'all decide.
Okay.
So, I don't know if that's what the case is, but something needs to be done because, I pay.
That's what it is. But here's the thing. Zola believes the criminal investigation involves one employee. That individual, documents show, is 24-year-old district. She's only 24. Angela Ward, Unit 4's Assistant Superintendent for Achievement and Equity, identified in expense reports by her former name, Angela Smith. Ward was reprimanded by Zola for scores of personal food purchases, including 101 orders at Smoothie King from July 2017 to August 2018, according to documents. All of my purchases were reported to the business office and were supported by receipts and required documentation, said Ward, who makes $158,255 annually. In an email statement to News Gazette, a policy would have saved the district and staff pain, time, and money. So you got a 24-year-old. How
much she make?
$158,255.
I think that's great.
It's awesome.
And she did what now?
She charged...
Allegedly, I guess.
Allegedly charged...
how much?
Over 101 orders of smoothie. I like Smoothie King too, Miss Ward. I like the vegan mango kale, add strawberry. That's my drink. I go there every Friday. Vegan mango kale. So I'm saying
how much it cost?
If with a $2 discount, a medium cost me $7.65. So that's over $700 she done spent with my tax-paying dollars.
Allegedly.
No, she just was quoted as saying she paid it back.
Okay, leave her alone.
I need interest.
No, we interested in justice. Just leave her alone. She admitted she made a mistake. It's a wrap. It would cost more to, adjudicate this thing than it's $765.
Now, Dr. Laura Taylor, she purchased $2,957.88 in gift cards, $1,240 worth at Walgreens, $1,717.88 at Sam's Club.
Hey, everything's public, man. It's all public information. So they're saying that they use company funds or they use the taxpayers' funds to buy these different things.
They getting ready to use.
They got a per diem, right?
They getting ready to use $8,100 of our tax-paying money, your tax-paying money, for an audit.
Well, I mean, you're looking at $765 opposed to $8,000 for an audit. Maybe they dig up something else. Or they just tell them, hey, look, you can't do this and you can't do that.
Angela Ward's expense reports detail repeated personal food purchases of 293 P-card transaction totaling $4,935.82 in just over a year's time. 259 were for fast food purchases.
Oh, wait a minute. Now does she have an expense account?
She using our account. P.
Is she a public figure?
She is now. Others were for conference travel.
That's fine.
Retirement gift book from Barnes & Noble.
That's fine.
Of the 259 food purchases, 101 were at Smoothie King, 49 at Arby's, 38 at Subway, and another 59 at 17 other eateries. Most of the transactions were an amount that suggested she bought food for one.
I don't have a problem with it.
Elaborate.
I do not have. What's her name? What's that lady's name?
Angela Ward.
Angela Ward. I do not have a problem with that. How did she get that position?
I believe she's black too, so that could be
okay. Black,
airing a black girl out.
I mean, look,
but I don't care about that. You 24 in administration. You not them. You got to know better.
Wait a minute.
I believe
she can't get a smoothie.
Not 101 of them.
What's the limit?
0. That should have been the limit when you make 150 something 55,000.
I disagree. Every president, former president, they still have Secret Service following them around for the rest of their lives.
For sure.
Okay. They still probably don't have to pay for a driver's license or these different things. You know, these are still my money. It's still taxpayers' money. You see where I'm going with this? Should public servants, I don't know why they call them public servants, that'll be public masters, because, man, if you go into the public service field, I think you should get the minimum wage. That's what I think. That's a strong testament of, why you're doing it. But of course, if you're a millionaire and you've got hundreds of millions of dollars, you should forego your salary. Be a real public servant. Why else would you spend, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100 million to get a position that only pays a couple $100,000 a year, except you're going to use it for contacts and kickbacks, if that's the case. So Miss Angela Ward, I mean, I ask questions like this. What's the root of it? What's really going on? I mean, she can have a smoothie. She should be able to get a rental car. That's fine. I'll pay for it. I'll pay some of it. It ain't that big of a deal. She should be able to have a expense account, per diem. I mean, $156,000. I mean, in Champaign, that's like what, 3 times higher than the
man. She getting bread. She's only 24. Good for her.
Listen,
just use your own
perks,
money.
Nope. If that's
that ain't a perk.
If that's a perk that comes with it,
she about to be the scapegoat.
No, she ain't. She gonna be all right.
You think she got a? She got
a parachute?
If she
gonna be all right.
If she is a scapegoat, do you think she has a case, some type of lawsuit case?
Well, whomever.
I mean, we're not lawyers, but
I don't mean a lawyer.
We just talking.
I don't want a pay cut. The thing is, whomever is bringing this, I'm sure they've thought about, the ramifications of libelous and slander. So when you bring these things, by the time somebody bring you up on, I guess, charges or bring you to the light, they've already thought about the different possibilities or the different ways that you can and can't get out of whatever it is they're accusing you of. So is this like gross injustice? I don't know, because I know there are some things we don't know about.
Oh yeah, and I'm not gonna be naive to think that other people
not that everybody do. Even if everybody's doing it,
but you just gotta be smart enough to not do that. And
where is the system of checks and balances that says the first time she did it, that one smoothie? Wait a minute.
That's what when you
so
said
nobody's looking.
When you said you didn't have a problem with, I was getting ready to ask you, as a businessman, as somebody that probably has workers, and you send them on occasion to get lunch or get product or get something, you probably might say, okay, go to Menards, go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, go here and get this. And Lowe's, Menards, and Home Depot has candy bars, candy, gum. What if your worker came back and gave you a receipt and you seen $1.09 gum on there? You probably gonna ask him, why'd you get it?
No, I don't want to know. If it's $1.09, guess what? That's $10.90 that you owe me. But here's I think is the difference. I don't run my business like United States of America from a deficit standpoint.
For sure.
I know where all the pennies, nickels, and dimes. I watch every day. I'm like, okay, this is how much I made, this is how much I spent, this is how much this cost. I have my own expense report. There has to be a system of checks and balances. Even the United States of America is supposed to be set up on 3 different branches of government: judicial, legislative, and executive branches. Those are supposed to counterbalance each other out to make sure, the balance of powers. So it is in any organization or institution. And it supposed to exist here in Champaign. Now, of course, I wouldn't even consider becoming a president, a politician, or run from any kind of run from office or something like that. But I do know there has to be a system of checks and balances. If the system is broken, you find out after somebody has spent $1,000 or $100,000, and then you start looking into who else has done this. How long has this been going on? It's an ongoing investigation for the past 3 years. I mean, how much does that cost the taxpayers? Not that she shouldn't be brought to, judges, justice, or charges or whatever. Whoever did it, whoever's wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. Just correct the wrong. Does she have like unlimited spending ability?
She thought she did.
Well, we don't. Well, I mean, objection, intent. We can't say what she was thinking. I mean, I would defend her if I was a defense attorney. I would defend her. Whether black, white, whatever, I would defend her. Like, okay, hey, was she operating within the parameters of her powers? And if that's a gray area, how do you determine that it was willfully and it was of evil intent? How do you do that? Because that's really what it is. It's like, okay, well, everybody's doing it, or ain't no law against it. Okay, I'll stop. I'll pay it back. So do you punish this person because the system has such a gray or broad area? Do you punish this one person, or do you make her the scapegoat?
That's one thing.
Somebody's going to be the first.
They have to clean house.
But then who would be there?
Man,
nobody.
Drain the jobs.
Drain the swamp.
List the jobs on the board, and you paying $158,000. Somebody will apply.
And how would they do any different? Because that's what they did before. Somebody
applied.
Policy in. The policy's in place, but there are gray areas. There are loopholes. A good example: President Trump.
Your guy.
He's using executive powers to stop certain things that's going on. Is that within his right? Is that immoral? Is it just wrong? Is it satanic? Is it within his right to use his executive powers to protect himself in the presidency? It may not be so much of, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. That's wrong. He's like, you know what? Tell his team of lawyers, like, you know what? I'm going to do this and this. You find out how I can do it. Is it within the law? And I think that's where tricky, but I think that's where the balance is thrown off. Because there may be some things that this person does that is not on the books yet.
Now look.
If there's a precedent, there's already something that's gone forth, but you can like look at it as a sample, a model, or what are you looking? What you got against Angela Ward?
You know what? And see, that's why I like coming here, because I'm disappointed because I honestly believe that she will be the scapegoat.
Okay.
But I am disappointed because even though she's young, I feel like she should know better, or she should have people telling her, chill. When you have that many transactions, you done went with somebody like 100, 200. What did I say? I know at least 101 is Smoothie King.
You want them smoothies?
I go every Friday. I went today.
And how much is that?
I got a medium vegan mango kale.
Wow. For how much?
Add strawberry. It's 32 ounces. It's a meal replacement.
And how much?
I paid with a $2 discount, but it was 80 or 99 cents to add the strawberry. I paid $7.65.
Wow.
I can only go once a week. And how I started it is because I read football on Fridays. So I would go that morning, get a smoothie, all natural, natural carbs. You get your kale, your fruits. Okay. And that kick off the day, putting something halfway decent in your body.
Okay.
And then go like to Subway or something, get a sub, not nothing too, heavy or whatever. And then I felt good, doing the game, not because I hadn't eaten,
kind of light,
Yeah.
She can't do that?
On her own $158,000 salary, she can.
You think she overpaid?
Yes, using the P card.
Watch this though. What's the P card for? What can she use it for? It has to be for some like monetary transaction to receive a product or service.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Come on now.
Like this article.
Who wrote this article? Somebody who wants a job. It
might have been. But then my thing is, this is why they need to clean house. Okay.
Gotta make
Food-related charges weren't limited to working lunches. Administrators across the district often use their P cards to expense catered meals for staff parties, meetings, or all-day interviews. Amounts charged range from a few dollars for staff meeting snacks up to $1,895.75 for a Novak Academy senior celebration from Black Dog Smoke Ale House.
Wow.
For the non-locals, Black Dog
restaurant over
is a barbecue spot that is supposedly one of the best in the state.
Is it?
It's good. I mean, I prefer my own barbecue, but Black Dog has a great reputation in our state.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Asked if she felt district spending on food was excessive, Zola departed from a prepared statement to reply, yes, I think there's quite a continuum of how people make those decisions.
Objection. What'd she say? She said they were excessive?
She said, yes, I think there's quite a continuum of how people make those decisions, and I hope to align them to a more formal set of practices. Other P card charges using public money included $165.88 for poinsettias from Schnucks for 7 school board members charged by Zola's assistant.
That's fine.
$208.97 for a framed picture from the Larry Camphor Gallery given to his secretary retiring after 3 decades. Assistant Superintendent Jennifer Ivory Tatum asked Zola's assistants to make the purchase. The gift was in addition to an office retirement party and annual dinner to which all renting district employees are invited. Several charges for flowers. One for as much as $219.90, including those sent to the funerals of employees, relatives, staff recovering from illness. That's bullshit, brother.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I'm glad we don't see eye to eye with this.
If somebody dies, you you put in on an arrangement. You don't use taxpaying dollars for an arrangement. If somebody die, if somebody having a birthday, if somebody retiring, you go around to the office and you say, this is what we gonna do. If you put 10, 5, 20, whatever you have, if you got 10 people in the office and you get 10 people to give $10, you got $100 that can buy that arrangement, that can buy a gift card, that can buy whatever. You don't go into taxpayer dollars and do these funeral arrangements and all this bullshit. You don't do that. Illegal? That's not the point.
I think that's the point.
Because at the end of the day, now what are you gonna do now that you have a referendum that you done signed for and Centennial getting, I want to say, 12 or 18 more $1 million to complete the project?
Wow.
That ain't got nothing to do with Central. Now your tax bill ain't came yet. When your tax bill coming? It probably might come tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine. I ain't worried about that kind of stuff.
Well, I am.
You shouldn't. And I tell you why.
Why?
You should make so much money until that doesn't even matter.
Well, I ain't there yet.
Well, you have to get to that point. You may have to give up some smoothies. You got to give up them $7. You got to, I mean, that's $300-something. I mean, that's a lot. It really is. Plus eating out, that's a lot.
$7 for smoothie
that's
once
like
a week.
$30, that's $28 a month.
$28 a month. So now I have to sacrifice to give it back to her when she make $155,000.
But you're not giving it to her.
Yes, I am. If that's what she's using it on. I'm giving it to her.
L.A. Petty.
I'm just saying, La Petty.
La Petty. I think it's petty.
What other districts do?
I don't care about other districts.
Urbana has 142 P car users, 56 more than Unit 4.
What's wrong with that?
Urbana car holders also have limits on their cars. High-dollar items require a purchase order to be filed in advance, ensuring the district goes to the vendor with the best price.
But you got smoothies. Come on now.
Similarly to St. Joe Ogden High School, requires that purchases greater than 5,000 receive prior school board approval.
St. Joe got a population of like 80 people.
And if you want to spend more than 5,000, you got to go to the board to get the board approval.
Those are their rules, regulations.
There are only 4 card holders in the district. So while you sitting up there talking about how many people, they only have 4 card holders. If you're a teacher and you listen to this podcast, if you're an administrator and you listen to this podcast, what's up, Dr. Williams? We need you back on. We need you back on. Happy birthday, Preston.
Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I think today is his birthday, or yesterday was his birthday.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Dr. Preston. We know you're a fan of the podcast. You said you'd come holler at us. We're going to talk about these P cards.
But listen, I'm not much into politics.
Yeah, me either. I'm into my money.
Man, listen, it's like you're trying to say, watch this. You're getting yourself together. You're putting a budget together, and you're looking at everything that comes in, all your income, all your expenses. At the end of the month, you want to see if you're at a surplus or a deficit. Then you work kind of reverse engineering. Then you start keeping up with every single penny. See where everything goes. Everything's allocated to some place. Well, that being the case, certain amount of money is going to taxes, insurance. Like if you looked at your mortgage every month and you looked at the principal, interest, taxes, insurance.
Oh yeah,
it'll drive you absolutely crazy. If you looked at, the
only thing that saved me is my interest rate is actually okay. But then it's like, and hold your thought, because it's almost like when you get to like, okay, I'll be transparent a little bit. So I owed like $130 or something like that, and then you get to paying a couple. It's like $130. $900, $130, $600. It's like, God dang, I done spent all this money.
Yeah.
And it's only $200-$300 off the principal.
Yep, exactly. Everything else is interest. So some superintendent or assistant superintendent getting smoothies, it doesn't have much credence in my financial plan, because out of everything that she spent, to me, my contribution may have been a quarter. That's why it doesn't get much interest. I don't give it much value. Do I think it's wrong? Yeah.
Yeah,
it might
thank
be.
you for
it's
saying
wrong.
that.
Okay, if you're using the taxpayers' money for something that you could pay for yourself, and it's outside of the scope of your budget, there may be money in the budget. Like, okay, you can spend $30 a day on food. If that's in the budget, that's in the budget. She goes out, to entertain or to have business meetings with, clientele or someone who may, it may be in the best interest of the city. So she's going out. She's not going to spend her own money buying dinner for, a guest. If you look at the president of the U of I, when someone comes over to his house, he's not paying for it. Another president visit, he's not paying for the people to serve and the caterers. He's not paying for that. There's money factored in the budget.
But you get government dollars from the state to run a school district.
I understand.
So you should not be using taxpayer dollars that's supposed to be going towards a referendum to improve your little raggedy ass schools. That's just like when the News Gazette put out the thing about the church on Easter.
Okay.
That's just like I said. Mm-hmm. I only get the paper on Sunday for the sales flyers.
Gotcha.
So it is a reason why this article came out on a Sunday.
That's right.
They know what the hell they doing.
Well, it's planning.
Because they probably know that most people
they know the demographics.
Yeah, that
they know
the
the
readership is going to be highest on Sunday,
and as well they should as a form of advertisement.
Yeah.
So whatever message they want to get out, whatever message they want to get out, they know best when to get it out based on, that, like I say, the system. They know the readership. They know that
24 meals over $500.
That's fine. That's almost normal. I mean, when Bill Clinton, they had $1,000, $10,000 plate dinners.
Jefferson spent $12,517.91 in food-related charges.
Over how long?
Since July 2017, followed by Edison, $11,112.88, and Franklin, $8,963.
So we paying for it.
Yeah, over 2 days just before students returned last fall, $2,132.37 worth of food for staff was charged at Edison. $1,100 from lunch from Biaggi's, $80.99 for coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, $152.45 for bagels from Einstein's, $750 a day for day 2 breakfast from El Toro, and $48.93 in food from County Market.
But they're keeping the money flowing. It's flowing.
$1,036.36 in teacher appreciation cookies from County Market.
That's good.
Charged on 1 May 2008 day to Zola's assistant car. I got to find out who Zola's assistant is.
But then she still,
asked if she felt if the spending on food was excessive. Zola said, "I think it differs by campus, which is part of what we're trying to get in common and understand as we move forward. Certainly every year as we welcome teachers back, we do provide muffins, juice, and coffee, and of course." But look here.
Yep.
You can provide it all you want to.
However.
But that's just like, you have different accounts. Like at my job, I record classes. We have microphones, batteries, thumb drives, because we have just so much things that we need. So there is a store on campus that we can go get batteries. We can go get a thumb drive. We can go, and so we have 2 accounts. We have 2 accounts. So they link to my iCard. So if I need to go get batteries, they have a box of 24 9-volt batteries. I don't even know how much they cost. I don't remember. But I'll tell the person that handles that in our department, I got to go get batteries. So I'll go, and if I
So you have an expense account?
Not personally, our department does.
But you have the ability to spend.
I do.
On behalf of the department.
But
like Angela Ward.
I would get permission.
She got permission.
No, she didn't.
someone permitted her to have a card.
Okay, true.
Someone permitted you to have a card.
So I would go get the batteries.
12 batteries.
Ask for a receipt.
Okay.
And take the batteries back and give them the receipt.
Okay.
So once the account comes, they know that I've given them the receipt. They file it, whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's one office.
Yeah. So like if I wanted to take a Photoshop course, sign up, put the department account. Of course, you got to get permission.
Gotta get permission.
Put the department account number in there. I'm signed up for the.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? And like, it's not hard. Like they should have a policy, and the fact that they
have a policy.
So I will say this: the house cleaning should start at the top. The superintendent got to go.
Wait a minute. Why?
She got to go.
Why?
Because it's on her watch. It's on her watch.
No, wait a minute now. I mean,
and she was alerted. She was alerted over a year ago about the excessive spending, and it did not change. And the only reason why it's probably changed now is because they knew this article was coming out because the News Gazette requested this information and had.
Who's her boss?
She's a superintendent. I don't know.
Everybody has a boss.
Okay, the board probably will.
Somebody hired her.
Yeah.
Okay. And whomever hired her, there once again has to be some system of checks and balances. I mean, she has certain parameters she have to operate within. Is she operating within that border, within that fence?
Well, obviously.
Possibly. They can cut the card up. They can stop it. Is there no system in place that says, flag, you've had $870 worth of smoothies. You've had 7 smoothies. There's no system in place that says, green, yellow, red, stop, cut the card off. Is that on her? Okay, personal integrity, doing what's right when nobody's looking, that's fine. But if she's allowed to do it, then it's not that big of a deal. If she found out that she can't do it anymore and continue to do it, then I think that's when it will really start. But it doesn't bother me because
and I ain't lost sleep over it either. But they bogus as hell. That's what I will say.
I mean, that's politics. I mean, that's politics. I mean, that's why I don't get off into politics. For that same reason. That'll draw me in and I'm all, geeked up, gung-ho, emotional about something that I know I'm only going to go so far. I choose not to go so deep into it until I lose focus. Like, wait a minute.
But if I see one of them,
what you going to say?
Can I get one of them P cards?
No. You don't need a P card.
Yes, I do. I'm not saying I
you need a profit card. Keep working on the business.
Look, brother, I got to get these jokes off. Hey, man, let me get one of them 80. Man, it's 81 of them. Let me get one of them. Sure. I like Smoothie King.
But watch, it comes attached with something else.
Man.
Are you willing to go through what's necessary to hold on to that P card?
Let me get that P card up out
and you. It's running the pockets.
Man, if I see him, because I'm active.
What they make you?
Shout out to people at Southside. At least y'all kept y'all meal purchases under 500
that we know of.
That's what I said. I'm not saying y'all didn't use no P cards, but Southside, I will say, y'all always asking for a check.
Uh-oh.
So maybe y'all using the check to purchase the food and not use a P card, but Southside Elementary, it felt good to not see y'all on there.
But are they in an...
Oh yeah, they running it up. They ain't no different than nobody else.
Okay.
Bill Taylor, happy retirement. You probably retiring because if your name gets strung in there, he's retired
because he did his job. He did a good job, and now he's gonna go.
At least you kept it under 500, Bill.
Wow.
We gonna miss you. But man, brother, let's get on up out of here, man.
Yeah, that was good. That was
episode
good,
48.
Good. 48.
It's gonna be named something in regards to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's good.
R.I.P. John Singleton. Pray for Danville. They had a stretch about a week and a half ago that they had 3 murders in 5 days.
In Danville.
So
we're going to pray for him? What they going to do? That's a question.
We'll just pray. I mean, you're a spiritual brother. Yeah, I mean,
there's no physical reality without a spiritual, but I want to know what we're going to pray for. Let's pray. Let's pray
to keep them people from hurt, harm, and danger, man.
Okay.
But pray for them. Got a lot of good friends over there, close friends.
Danville?
Yeah, man. I got a lot of.
What's in Danville?
Man. So there's some good people over there. I say that, but pray for that community. They just got a black mayor.
They did?
Yeah, biracial mayor, but he identifies as black.
Okay, of Danville.
Of Danville. I think he's young, too. I think he might be just early 30s. So pray for them. Aisha Curry, your man, hit 33 in the second half tonight.
The Currys, I saw a thing on the Currys. Yeah, that would be a good episode.
We'll talk about that next week.
The generational wealth.
Yeah,
and the family structure. I thought that'd be good to talk about because we have so many stories with people.
Yeah, so Aisha Curry, you said you wanted other men in your DMs. You were transparent and vulnerable about your insecurities. Your man hit 33 tonight. They eliminated Houston without Kevin Durant. So that's a wrap.
It's a wrap, y'all.
Brother.
Black coffee. No sugar.
No sugar, no cream. Thank you very much.
Good podcast, man. I'm going straight home and go to sleep.
Yeah, man. It felt good to get behind the mics.
Yeah, man.
To all our listeners, you know who you are.
You know who you are.
Thank you for the likes.
You should know who you are. Know yourself.
Yeah. To all our listeners, the people that comment, the people that give us feedback, we thank you. We love you.
We thank you.
We're gonna keep it going. Thanks for being patient. This will be released. We're recording this on Friday. As you know, Golden State just eliminated Houston. Just got that. So this is a Friday night, May 10th. So it will be released Saturday morning. I gotta go Uber. It's graduation here in town. So
gonna come up.
That's the goal.
That's good.
So
I love it. Entrepreneurship.
Yes, indeed. I'm an independent contractor.
I'm proud of you, man. I love it.
So without further ado, you know where to find us. Google us. And until next time, may peace be unto you. And man, take us home.
Assalamu alaikum.
Y'all finished or y'all done? I ain't got no more talking.
Peace, y'all.
Peace. That was good.